Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Abigail, and today I am using my Himi Gouache set to color a kind of, I don't know what era painting of a couple of my OCs. So I wanted this to look very painting-esque. Like so the sketch is pretty rough because I knew I was going to be painting over everything. I wasn't going to be lining it at all. It was just going right in with the gouache. And now I do have to warn you, this is my third time ever trying gouache, okay? Only the third time. And this entire video is one big, gigantic trust the process, okay? It really doesn't start coming together for quite a while. So I just gotta let you know right now. And I'm using a miscellaneous supply of brushes that I have bought over the years. Some are acrylic brushes. I'm pretty sure one's an oil paint brush. A couple are watercolor brushes. I'm not sure they make brush sets for gouache, at least not that I have seen or had the chance to pick up. And I kind of wing these colors, the brown and I was looking for muted, because in like paintings, era paintings, I don't know what year I'm thinking, 1800s maybe not, 1500s maybe, not quite Renaissance era. Those are a little more, I don't know. I never studied art history, but in this portion right now, though, I am just blocking in the colors, and it's really streaky, it's really watery. I was using a lot of water. I was just getting some color down. I do go in later with more opaque, so more paint, less water, and block in like the shadows and the highlights and stuff, which ends up looking really, really cool. So I'm actually, for this only being my third time trying gouache, I'm really proud of myself for how this turned out. It looked pretty cool. I definitely was, trial and error and learned a lot. I definitely think, though, I'm gonna tape my paper down to something. I was just using a Bristol pad. I'm not exactly sure. I haven't read exactly what my Bristol paper would be great for, but it was just kind of had a little bit of a tooth to it, thick and kind of smooth. I liked it. Yeah, I just got a wet for it. Adding the shadows here, though, to the wall really made me go, okay, I kind of like gouache. I really had a great time like blending the background. I wanted to die just a tad bit when I got to their fucking skin. The skin is where I always get killed. I always think I'm cruising along, going fantastic. I'm like, yeah, I can totally paint with gouache. I can totally paint skin. I'm an artiste. And then I get to it and I'm like, I have no idea what I'm doing. And this fabric turned out pretty okay for it having been a long time since I painted fabric. I took some art classes in college, and all we did was oil paint fabric. Oh my god. Okay, we did a few other things, but fabric was like it. That was like 98% of the things we did, paint fabric. Oh my god. And now this video, you'll notice later on, especially when I get to them, I skip a lot. I skip a lot of the color blocking. Honestly, mostly the color blocking. You see the shading and you see like the details and stuff, but the color blocking, yeah, this took me over 4 hours start to finish, and I did all the painting in one sitting. And so by the end of it, I was getting pretty fucking sick of it. And I have to admit, it shows a bit, and that was one of the things I would do differently, is I would spend more time over multiple days, or at least throughout the day, instead of sitting down and doing it all afternoon, because I paint the man last. And you can tell I'm done, because his just doesn't, it's kind of funny. He actually turns out, I think he looks a little better, but I think that's just his color choices. Like, his face turned out a little better, but she actually had like a lot more like blending put into it. I don't know. I love these characters. It's supposed to be my OC Nathan's parents. And if you want to hear more about Nathan and his story a bit, you can go a few videos back, and I draw him several times. This story is one I've been developing for a while. I used to have like a bajillion OCs, and I tried to think of a way to get them all like crammed into one story, and I have since ditched that, and I have ditched most of those OCs because it was kind of one of those things that when I first learned what that meant, which if you didn't, don't feel bad. It took me a long time. It means original character. So, character you created, you develop, you draw, write, whatever. And I turned everything I drew into an original character. I was like, oh yeah, this person with tentacle arms will fit totally perfect in my modern setting, fantasy world. Like, what? No. So I ditched most of them, but I have really lately been attached to Nathan. He stuck it out for years now. It's been, oh God, maybe a decade of me in this character. And at first he was just a throwaway character. And then I used him as a draw it again to like see your progress, and then I was hooked on him. So if you didn't notice, I just finished the background, which I think looks pretty cool. A little rusty. I don't do backgrounds that often, and it's been a long time since I've painted backgrounds as well. But it's time for them. So they don't have names yet, and this is them on their wedding day in their wedding outfits, which is really cute because I don't know, I have fun when I design a character. I have fun designing all their outfits for different events, and their wedding outfits were one of my favorite things to draw. They only have 2 outfits so far. I didn't think I'd like them as much as I did. They were just supposed to be just as parents, just them. They were there, and because Nathan kind of inhabits their story, things that happen to them happen to him, but I like them. So now I'm debating. I told myself I would never do a comic. I did a little mini comic for my friend for Christmas, and I had a terrible time, but they weren't my characters, and it wasn't a style I'm uncomfortable with. So I've been debating, tossing around, doing a little comic of my characters or writing something about them. And because I love his parents so much, I'm probably gonna have to do something with his parents because I just love them so much. And oh yes. But yeah, like I said, I don't have much of them. I have a little bit of their stories flushed out, like what happens to them, but they don't have things like names. But yeah, I loved the idea of this being actually like relevant to the story of like, it's tradition to get your portraits done on your wedding day. And I made them really kind of angry, upset looking because I feel like this would be something they wouldn't have wanted to do, but their parents insisted on having them do this. And because, it's a painting, let's pretend they were sitting there for as long as it took me to just paint this. 4 hours sitting there, I'd be grouchy too. I was grouchy painting. And I love painting. dress turned out very lovely. There's a lot of, I did miss, I painted her skin and I painted her arms before I really thought about referencing back to the original drawing I drew of them. And her arms are supposed to have long sleeves. Where they live is kind of a chilly climate, so they both had sleeves down to the wrists. But I forgot that, and I had spent too long on that skin color for me to care. I was like, no, I don't care. And then because I didn't sketch it out really great, and then I just jumped in right with the paint and stuff, her proportions of hands and arms and stuff, they aren't perfect. That is another thing I probably would spend more time on if I would have thought about it, is making sure they're pretty proportionate. But I was working really on a really small scale, and I really only have one brush that's really good at getting into the details. My other brushes are pretty fat for the size I was working on. As you can see, it's so tiny. This brush probably has 20 bristles max. Crazy. But his outfit, when I was planning the colors in the background, I planned them Renaissance-y, colors of a painting, the browns and the reds, and I don't know where I got the idea from that yellow from, maybe just lighting from that, but I kind of forgot to take into account the fact that his outfit is entirely red and brown, trimmed in blue, and the purple scarf, which, if you've seen any of my pictures of Nathan, it has a significance. So I wanted embroidery to be kind of a staple, a tradition in this. They're kind of a tribe from the well, I don't want to use the word tribe, but they're a group of people. They live in the mountains, and in the story they're very secluded. They don't live with people of the modern day. There are modern day cell phones, whatever, but they are completely cut off from the modern world. And so things like embroidery are what they do to pass the time. It's a skill, it's an art, it's the way they tell stories, and yeah, so I really wanted that to be a thing. And so this purple scarf's significance is it's actually Nathan's mother's, and she gave it to Nathan's father to wear on their wedding day, and then she embroiders on it a symbol for each of them, and it relates to their powers, which is kind of a long story, so I'm not going to explain that. But her power relates to a jellyfish, so she embroiders a jellyfish for her, and she embroiders a hawk for him. And then when they have their son Nathan, she starts to embroider his kind of animal that he's connected to, but she doesn't get to finish it because tragically she dies. Oh no. Typical anime parent, whatever. Parents are always dead. Parents must die in order for their children to become great heroes. Didn't you know that? That's a must. Just kidding. But it's actually relevant to the story though. But anyway, so she doesn't get to finish, which means as he's growing up, he has no clue which creature he is connected to, and that's part of his storyline as well. So if you didn't notice, I finished with the gouache. Paint's dry, I peeled off the tape, went in, colored in their eyelashes and stuff, and now I'm using my Prismacolor Color Erase colored pencils to add in some details, a few outlines, push the background back a bit, a little places where blending was not the greatest, that happens. I'm not perfect. Like I said, number 3, try with gouache. I think it turned out pretty cool, and I'm really excited to do more. I haven't been this excited about a medium since I started buying my markers, which you'll probably see more gouache paintings in the future. I have quite a few markers dead, and it is very frustrating because, you know, the first to die are the ones you use the most. So all of my favorite markers are dead, and I have like 20 refills I need to buy. 20 refills at $8 a piece. Oh god, that's so many. I really enjoyed this process, and I really hope that you enjoyed watching it. If you are still here and you want to see more of my work, there is tons of it on my Instagram. I would love for you to check it out. Link is below. I also sell stickers on my Etsy, but my tongue. I did an entire zodiac series where I drew the zodiac signs as badass women. They were in pretty cool fantasy clothing with fun weapons, and I drew them again in sticker form, not on video though, unfortunately. And I made those into stickers, so you can buy prints of my badass women, or you can buy stickers of them, and I have tons of other cool things on my shop as well, such as bullet journal stickers. I'm a big fan. I bullet journal. If you bullet journal, check it out. A few other fun character drawings as stickers there as well. And if you want to see more of my work, make sure you hit that subscribe button, baby. I post twice a week, Mondays and Fridays, occasionally on a weekend if things are busy. You know, it's not always perfect, but twice a week, 99% of the time. And I hope you have a fantastic day. Stay safe. Hope you liked my piece. Subscribe, baby. And bye.